What is up, guys? This is Garrett with Instructional Angler. I'm going to get started with our lake breakdown series. Just something fun to kind of do in some spare time. I've had a couple of requests for Lake Allatoona. It's kind of northern Georgia, northwest Georgia area above Atlanta. I'm going to break it down the lake, what I would do if I were to roll up to this lake and fish this, or come down to fish a tournament in the spring or summer. These are the things I would be looking for on this lake. From kind of general research that I was able to do on Facebook, Google, Instagram, 10 to 11 pounds seems to be a pretty solid bag of spotted bass down there. So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on, what I think those spotted bass will be laying on, what I think they'll be kind of positioning around at that time of year. And also maybe even throw in a spot or two that may hold largie. Those largies look like they'll be kicker fish down there. I don't know if they have largemouth in that lake. I would assume there's a few, but that's what I would be doing based off of this breakdown. I will be using Navionics and Google Earth for the breakdowns. So starting off with Navionics itself, if you don't have Navionics on your phone, the iPhone app, I would highly suggest getting it. You can also use the web app on computer as well. Both great sources, great ways to kind of study lakes, study maps if you're preparing for a tournament or just for a fishing trip in general. Also, Google Earth will be something that we are going to use to help find some hidden things and show you a couple of tools on Google Earth and how I found certain things using it. So Navionics and Google Earth will both be the tools that we'll be using. You can see on the Google Earth, I've actually already gone in. I have the Earth Pro downloaded. I've already gone in and marked at least 10 to 15 spots roughly that I think that those fish will hold on at some time throughout the year. If you fish Allatoona, sorry if I'm giving up a couple of your spots, but if you fish off of these spots, let me know how they do. I like getting feedback on that. I've done some breakdowns for people in the past. I've had people win money off of spots. I've had people catch big fish off of spots from Florida to Indiana, everywhere in between. So let me stay updated. Just give me an idea of how things go off of those spots. I'm going to go ahead and jump in and get started. We're about 2 minutes in and we haven't started. So I'm going to try to keep these under 10 minutes for each lake. Let's start off with the Google Earth. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So on Google Earth, you can see that here's the dam of the lake, kind of on that top left-hand side, center left-hand side. If you know this lake, I would try to stay. I don't fish for spotted bass a lot, but I would try to stay kind of main lake areas. I picked one section of the lake to do this breakdown on. If I were to go for a tournament, I wouldn't want to be running all over the lake. So I kind of picked one specific area to kind of break this down. Now, on Google Earth, we're going to go to this first pocket here. On this first pocket, you kind of got what I would assume to be, let's see here, possibly channel swing bank. I really liked this chunk rock though. I'm going to guess that when this water is up, you are going to be able to catch some fish off of this. You can even see, yes, there's some exposed rock there, but you can see some rock also holding off of the bank. They're pretty close. I liked this back cove area, had some laydowns, those types of things. Would be a chance to maybe catch up with a largemouth there on the main lake. Some rock there. The difference between this rock, and they could hold on this at certain times. The difference between this rock, though, that I think will hold more fish, or will hold less fish than this rock, is you've got this giant chunk rock here. I'm all in on this spot. You've got some giant chunk rock. You can see it expanding down into the lake a little bit there as well. These are kind of main lake areas. These are going to hold fish. I would assume definitely around that spawning time as well, when those spots get up there and are looking for some hard bottom banks. I thought this was kind of you could be wrong. Somebody may catch fish off this spot that's watching this video. I I thought this was kind of a do-nothing cove. I'm not wasting any time on a cove like this. There was not enough here to make me stop for this big long arm here. Um, could there be some structure there? Absolutely. Those are things that are tough to tell without being on the lake and without being able to graph the lake. Let's see here. Maybe some of you guys that live around Lake Allatoona would know. This looks to be like an area that maybe has some grass in it. I can't tell if it was grass patches or an algae bloom. I'm going to assume there's a little bit of grass in the lake. Moving around to this point, so for those of you, this would be the cove that I start in. Tournament morning, I'm going to assume, I got a boat ramp here. I'm going to assume that this boat ramp or marina, I can't really tell. I'm going to assume that this area gets a little bit of pressure, but there's so much in one spot that it is going to be worth hitting. You've got kind of a main lake point area here. Has a giant rock pile out off of this point. Major rock pile. I'm all in on that. Rock coming off the sides. Possibly even a lay down there, it looks like maybe. Could be a buoy, could be a flagpole. Something is giving off a shadow there. I really like that congregation of chunk rock. I like the congregation of chunk rock here. You could stop on a spot like that while you're in the area. Grass patch fishing edges. Fishing the edges of that if there is some grass there. Got laydowns, you've got docks, so it'd be kind of a high percentage spot. Gonna have some deeper rock sections in this area. And then you've got a big tapering point here. There's not a whole lot of points in this cove, so if they are loading up on points, that is going to be one worth looking at. Looks like even a creek channel. You can see kind of next to that point, there's a creek channel coming in there. A little bit of deeper water coming off the end of the point. Creek channel structure here. And got kind of a big creek channel coming in here with some chunk rock. I'm going to change my map real quick. Let's see what this looks like at different times of the year. So these areas, most of these areas that are exposed have water on them throughout the year, it looks like to me. The water's just pulled down in this instance. But most of them have water on them already. Got some bass boats back in this area, so apparently it's good. I really like this creek channel swing. This creek channel pouring in here. You've got some laydowns, down timber on a prominent creek channel, chance for a largemouth. But I like these sections of the lake. These are the things that I would be looking for if I were looking for a tournament cove, a tournament section to start in. Looking for that rock, looking for those points, looking for the creek channels. Let's run over to Navionics and kind of look at this section of the lake real quick just to see if it backs up what we're thinking. It's good to compare two different sources. So let's transition this over to Navionics. I'll need to zoom in on the Navionics still, it looks like. Let's see. This is the creek channel that we were just looking at. Okay. Another thing about Navionics, a lot of guys will mark things on here for you. Navionics will mark things on here for you when they are scanning the lake. It is a Garmin company, so they are not just mapping these lakes. They are looking at them for fishing purposes and trying to help anglers as well. Here is that, I didn't mark this point, I don't think, but here is that big rock-covered point that we marked. Looks like it is out of the water most of the year. I'm going to click on this just to see what this marker is. Pre-spawn spotted bass. You're looking at a depth contour of 22 foot in that area. So catching pre-spawners is an option there. That's a great looking area. This is what it looks like on Navionics, and here is what it looks like on Google Earth. Let me get it pulled up. Okay, I'm going to transition that back over to Google Earth. So Google Earth, this is what it looks like. Um, Great looking point. You can even see like where that Navionics mark is. It would make me think maybe they're fishing, like maybe this is a ridge between the two marks that I have on Google Earth. Um, Here it is on Navionics. Maybe there's a little bit of a ridge between those two marks that I have on Google Earth, and maybe that's a kind of a holding spot. I would check that out. If you haven't, if you're in that area, I would definitely check that out. Let's see here. Let's transition back to Navionics. Look at a few more things here. I really like that spot. Tournament spot. I'm going to guess that there are some tournaments won off of that spot alone, especially with it only taking 10 pounds. There are going to be some fish loading up on that specific rock pile. Okay. Back to Navionics. Going back this creek arm. Looks like that whole back end of it stays pretty shallow other than the creek channel. I would scan that with graphs for sure. We marked some rock, some big chunk rock there. There is a mark there on the Navionics app. What does it say? Pre-spawn spots. So you've got a lot of pre-spawn opportunities going on in this cove. I would say spawning opportunities as well with that rock being up there shallow. I would be looking at both of those things. Here's a couple of the other areas that we marked. Kind of general areas on the lake. You're looking main. I would consider this main lake areas with opportunities to run into groups of spotted bass holding on that rock structure. So if you are on Allatoona, this is the section of the lake that I personally would be checking out. If you're fun fishing, check these things out. If you're tournament fishing, I would hold to that one cove that I have a majority of the marks in. And then this is where it is at on Google Earth. But I would hold to that one cove that has a majority of the marks in it. These are things that I would look for. Rock. If there is some grass there, those grass edges, spotted bass don't really hang out in grass, but they're going to hang out where the bait's hanging out, and that bait is going to be on those grass edges. So looking for structure, scanning is going to be a big thing. If you have questions about this lake breakdown, or if you want a personalized lake breakdown, you can reach out to me. I am doing some personalized lake breakdowns. I do have on Instagram, Instructional Angler. I'm going to be doing some instructional videos and breakdowns this year. And then also an email here, instructionalangler@gmail.com. You can get a hold of me at either of those. Leave a comment down below here on YouTube if you've caught fish off of these spots, or if these are spots you're going to check out, just to give me some feedback. I appreciate you tuning in for the Lake Allatoona breakdown.